Hey, what's up guys? It's the Cat47 here, back with another video. As y'all can probably see by the title of the video. What I want to do this video is, I guess, it's a little different than what I've been doing. And it's just kind of give everyone, especially it was more of a request from a few of my subscribers, but I just want to give the people who are new to, or new or part of my channel that have no idea how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to make like a short series explaining basically the basics of the game. I don't want to get into like anything because it is for very beginner level people. I don't want to get too much in depth in terms of the game because I feel like it's gonna be a very long, it's gonna be too long. And plus, I'm not, even though I know how to play the game, I am not like a high tier player or a very competitive player, so I don't even know all the little rules that come with the game when it in terms of coming or playing at the highest level. But I did want to give like a little overview of just the simple rules of the game, how you win, like the type of cards and how they interact together, as well as how you use them. So that's gonna be it for that's gonna be what I'm gonna go in this video. I'm probably just gonna do I'm probably just gonna cover how to win the game, the type of cards, being just spell trap and monsters. I'm not really gonna go into the extra deck in this video. That'll be in a future video, and probably the second or third part of the series. And then I'm also gonna cover basically the field zone, and I think that'll be it. Actually, that'll be a good place to start. So for the actual objective of the game, there's basically two. Technically, there's a few more ways you can win, but 98%, 99% of all the games will be won in two ways. One, if you both players start with 8,000 life points, so your objective is to bring your opponent's life points down to 0, and that's how you win. And the other way to win, I guess, is if somehow if you're playing a certain type of deck or something that can make your opponent basically, if you run out of your deck, you can't, your deck's completely used up, then you lose as well. So those are the two ways that you, 99% of the time, you're gonna win. So that's basically it. That's the main objective of the game, just to but mostly you're just gonna bring your opponent's life points down to 0. That's how most decks play. And the way to do that is, you normally do that with monsters. Actually, with all three type of cards: monsters, spells, or traps. The cards that you have in your deck. Normally, when you battle monsters, of course, the stronger monster, because monsters have attack and defense, the stronger one's gonna win whenever they're battling. And then normally, if they're both I'm not gonna go too in depth in this video yet about how everything battles, but basically, the stronger monster wins. Difference in attack points is normally what your opponent loses in life points. So, let's say a monster has 2,000 attack, one has 1,000, and they attack each other. Or, the stronger one attacks the weaker one, destroys it, and because the difference is 1,000, 2,000 minus 1,000 is 1,000. So that's how many life points the person that got their monster destroyed will lose. So. And then, of course, spell and trap cards also sometimes they have effects that will maybe give your opponent life points or make your opponent lose life points or give you life points. So it's there's different ways to get your opponent's life points down to 0. But that's basically the objective of the game. But alright guys, now covering the whole aspect of how to win and lose the game, now I want to talk about the type of cards in the game. There are technically more types, but these are the ones you're gonna find in your main deck most of the time. So I want this to be a pretty basic video, so I want to just go over the 3 main ones. So these are your monsters. Normally they're denoted by, of course, they're brownish in terms of the color of the card. They have these little stars here that denote their level. See if I can see that. Stars there. They have an attribute up here on the top right. It's a little hard to see, but it says dark. This is a dark monster. Level 3. They have attack and defense points. As you can see, attack is on the left, defense is on the right. And they have a archetype being, this one's a let's see if I can get this to focus properly. It's a fiend and it's an effect monster. And then in the text right here, normally it'll have, if it's a normal monster, it'll just be gibberish. If it's a normal monster, if it's normal, it'll just have the archetype. It won't have, or sorry, the type. It won't have like effect on here or anything like that. But most monsters nowadays, they are effect monsters, so they normally will have their effect written here. So that's monsters. The levels can vary from like 1 to like 10 or something. This one just happens to be level 3, and her name is Tour Guide from the Underworld. That's the name of the monster. So this is basically what a monster card looks like. Like I said, it has a attribute dark, level here. They have a type and either effect normal. There's other things it could be, but I'm not going to go into that right now. Their effect will be written here, and then their attack and defense will be written at the bottom. Now for this one, like let's just take this one for example. The effect says when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon 1 level 3 fiend monster from your hand or deck, but negate its effects. Also, it cannot be used as synchro material, which that's just basically the effect of the monster. I just wanted to read y'all what kind of effect it could be. But yeah, this is what a monster looks like. This is a spell card, which is denoted by being, it's green. All spell cards are going to be green. And spell cards have, I mean, up here it'll always say spell, right here at the top right. And then it'll say spell card as well here on the, where the level of the monster was going to be, it'll say spell card for the spell cards. And then in the text, of course, it'll tell you what the spell card does. This one, for example, says send 1 monster from your deck to the graveyard. So you basically, Yu-Gi-Oh is going to involve a lot of reading. You're going to have to learn what your cards do. But it's just like anything else. Once you know how to, like once you have your own deck and you've played with it a couple times, eventually you're going to know what your cards do without reading them. So this is just there like in case, of course it has to be there, like in case in a tournament you have to have the effect of the monster there, or the spell card or trap card. And yeah, that's, you basically just do what the card says. So like I said, there is a lot of reading involved if you want to learn how a lot of different decks play and all that. But I mean, it's part of the game, you know, it's fun, honestly. And then the last cards are trap cards. Trap cards, of course, are like, I guess this is like a purplish color. Like purple reddish. It's kind of hard to say, but I mean these will always be this color, like a reddish purple. And on the top right it'll have like a little trap symbol, and it'll say here on the where the other cards it's spell, this one is gonna say trap card. I don't know if it's a little hard to see, but yeah, it's a trap card. And then of course trap cards have their own text here in writing as well that you have to follow. This one says target 1 face-up special summon monster on the field, negate its effects. Also, its original attack is halved. If a monster is special summoned from your opponent's extra deck while this card is in the graveyard, you can set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. I know it's a lot to take in. It's a lot of text. But like I said, once you've played with the cards, eventually you're going to know what they do without... Of course, you're not going to have to read the card every time. So, yeah, it's just learning the game and how to play. So those are basically the 3 type of cards like that you're gonna see in the main deck. And like I said, in a future video I'm gonna cover the extra deck. But for this video, that's basically it for the 3 main types. And I hope I explained the differences pretty well. I mean, honestly they're pretty obvious. They look real different. But all monsters will be like this brown color, and they'll have like their level and all that stuff, their attack and defense. All spell cards will be green, and all trap cards will be purple. Now, the next thing I want to cover is actually the field, where you actually play on. So, luckily, this mat that I have already kind of has the field with me on it. So, let's see if I can get this to look good. Okay, the zones are not labeled, but it's like once you've played enough Yu-Gi-Oh, you're gonna know what all the zones are. So basically, the actual main field is actually these 5 here, and these 5 here, along with these 2. That you can't really see them, but it's fine. There's 2 zones up here. But I guess first I'll go over what these other four zones mean. So on the right, most of the time, like most people are right-handed, so on this very right zone, I know it's a little hard to see, but you're gonna have your deck. This is where your deck would go. Like your deck's gonna be face down when you're playing, because of course you're shuffling your every duel you shuffle your deck, and then you draw 5 cards. But your deck's gonna be over here. Then on top of your deck, over here is gonna be your graveyard. So whenever you've used up a spell card, whenever you've used trap cards, whenever your monsters die, then they're gonna go to the graveyard. Then on over here on the bottom left, you have your extra deck. Which, like I said, I'm not gonna go into the extra deck today, but I'm just gonna letting y'all know. Here's the extra deck here, and then on top of the extra deck, you're gonna have the field spell zone. Which a field spell is a type of magic card that I'll go over in the future. But it's a magic card, but it's a certain type. And then, like I said, now this is the main field here. You have 5 spell and trap card zones, so you can put up, basically you can have up to 5 spell and traps on the field at the same time. So you could only put spell and traps here. So this is the spell and trap zone. Then here you have the monster zone. You can have up to 5 monsters. Well, it's a little more, but 5 monster zones here, the main monster zones. And then over here on the top, you have what's called the extra monster zone. So this top zone is reserved for monsters only from the extra deck, which, like I said, I'm not going to go into right now, but just letting y'all know. And then here, like I said, it's the 5 regular main monster zones. But yeah, that's basically it. Like, the 3 cards that I showed you all earlier. If this card was on the field, it'd have to be in one of these 5. It'd have to be in one of these 5 zones. Whenever you're summoning monsters, you can choose what zone you summon them to. So let's just say he's on the middle one. No, the light's hitting it. Yeah, let's see, he's here. So you're gonna summon it into one of your 5 monster zones. And like I said, spell and trap cards, they go on these. So if they can be face down as well. I mean, monsters can be face down as well too, but I'll explain that more when I get into like how to actually play the game. But yeah, I just wanted to cover basically what the field looked like. So like I said, you have your deck here, your graveyard here, your field spell zone here, your extra deck zone or extra deck here. Then you have your 5 spell and trap cards, 5 monster slots or where the monsters go, and then the 2 extra monster zones, which I will get into those in another video. So that's basically the field right there. So basically now I've gone over the object of the game. I've gone over the 3 type of cards in the deck that you're gonna see, and I've gone over what the field looks like. The last part I want to cover in this video is basically all the parts of a turn. That's what it is. All the parts of a turn. So of course, people take turns going. So it's always a 1v1 in Yu-Gi-Oh. And then what you're gonna do is at the beginning of the turn, you have what's called the draw phase. So normally in one turn, like every turn, you're gonna draw a card from your deck. Well, let me just quickly pull out a few cards and then show y'all like I'm just gonna show y'all like the parts of a turn, but okay, so my deck's here on the deck zone. So you will always start with 5 cards in your hand. Both players will start with 5 cards in their hand. Now, the person who goes first is not gonna draw for their turn. That was a rule that changed in the last few years, but before, when I played back in 2010, even the first person got to draw on their first turn. But now it's like whoever goes first doesn't draw. Just that first turn. Then whenever the opponent goes, let's just say I'm going second, right? So my opponent already went, but now it's my turn. I have 5 cards in hand. The first part of the turn is the draw phase, where you draw. So now you're gonna have 6. If you go in second, you basically have 6 cards in your hand. And then you're gonna go into standby phase. Like it's just a part of the turn where some cards have effects that activate in standby phase. So you normally quickly get through the draw and the standby phase really fast. Like you can just ask your opponent, do you have anything in response? No. Then you go into main phase 1. Main phase 1 is where you actually get to summon your monsters, set cards, activate spell cards, set trap cards, all that stuff. So main phase 1 is where you actually get to like put stuff on the board. You can summon monsters, you can set trap cards. I guess something I quickly forgot to mention is that trap cards, all the cards can be used interchangeably for all types of scenarios, but most of the time trap cards are used defensively. Spell cards are basically used to like boost certain cards, boost decks, or give you advantages, like letting you search a card from your deck or something, or making a monster stronger, or they kind of like enhance certain things. And then monsters, of course, they can be used for attacking, defending, and all that stuff. So in main phase 1, like I said, you summon monsters, you can set trap cards, you can activate spell cards, and all those shenanigans. And then you can go into your battle phase. That's the next step. Battle phase is where you actually battle. So if you have one, most monsters can only attack once per turn unless they have an effect that lets them attack again. But each monster can only just attack once. So if you have like 2 monsters on the field, then you can attack once with each one. If you have 1 monster, then you can only attack just that one time. But you can't you can't do battle phase and then like attack, and then you can set more cards, summon more monsters, and then attack again. You can't do that. You have to take care of all of your attacks during the battle phase. So once all your monsters that can attack have attacked or something like that, then your battle phase basically is over, and you go into main phase 2. In main phase 2, you can do again the same thing as main phase 1. You can activate more spell cards, you can set more cards, you can summon more monsters, and that's basically it's the same as main phase 1, but just like you've already attacked, so you're not going to be able to attack again, basically. And then at the end of the turn, it's called the end phase. It's just you're just declaring end phase, so it's just your opponent's going to know that you're ending your turn. If they want to, they can activate stuff in response to that or something. Or if you have a card that has an effect that's on the end phase, you can activate its effect. So that's basically the parts of the turn right there. So you have your draw phase, your standby phase, your main phase 1, your battle phase, main phase 2, and the end phase. Those are the parts of the turn. Then once end phase is over, then your turn is over, then your opponent will go into their draw phase. It'll be their turn, and they draw their card for their turn. And then the steps repeat again. They have, of course, standby, main phase, battle phase, main phase 2, end phase. And then when it goes back to you, again, you draw again. It's your draw phase. So that's basically the parts of a turn and how they work. So it's basically, I hope that wasn't too much info, but I don't think I went over anything like too complicated. Like I said, it's just a matter of actually playing the game, and you will eventually all that stuff will become second nature to you. You'll know like where everything is on the field. You'll know the parts of the turn and everything. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I just wanted to, like I said, give y'all a very basic overview of how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And like I said, the topics I wanted to cover in this video were the objective of the game, the type of cards in the deck, the field basically for your monsters and spell and traps, and then the parts of the turn. So I think that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Stay tuned for the rest of this series. Probably the next series I'm actually gonna cover the extra deck and the type of monsters there are in the extra deck and all that stuff, how you summon them. And also I am gonna cover also like the types of summons as well, which is very important. And that'll probably that's gonna take up probably most of that other video. So yeah, and then for the third video, what I probably plan on doing is I am gonna go into like the type of, because there's not just like a spell or trap. There are different types of spell and traps. So I do want to go over that, as well as going into very small combos you can do, like very basic combos that, just so you can see how decks kind of synergize together. And I'll get into chains a little bit in the third video. But yeah, that's going to be it, guys. Stay tuned for the next videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this little basic tutorial. And please like and subscribe to the video if you did. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.